first flew in prototype form on the 20th of May 1977. 8 years later, the aircraft entered squadron service with the then Soviet Air Force, but it's carried on equipping the Russian armed forces in the post-Soviet era and a variety of other former Soviet states. And here we see it powering up for takeoff. Taking a close look at a Royal Norwegian Air Force P3 Orion maritime reconnaissance aircraft over the Barents Sea, managed to collide with it. Both aircraft thankfully making it back to base, but when the flanker in the hands of Sukhoi test pilots began appearing at Western air displays starting with Paris in 1989.
Various air warfare centres from around NATO. Up to that point, all we'd seen were grainy black and white photos and with estimations of what the performance of the aircraft was. But you know, sustained turning in excess of 22 degrees per second was confirmed with a stopwatch during that aircraft.
Flanker, the first Soviet production fighter to be equipped with fly-by-wire controls. As far as its service in Ukraine was concerned, well, the Soviets had a single fighter interceptor regiment on Ukrainian soil flying Sukhoi Su27 P1M as of 1991. It had started the process of replacing those aging jets with Su-27, but hadn't completed it by the time the USSR broke up. Ukraine therefore took on 67 flankers. Independent, and they carried on serving in the same roles as in Soviet times. Most of the Ukrainian Su-27s are based at Mirhorod in central Ukraine with the 831st Guards Tactical Aviation Brigade. That's where this aircraft comes from. That unit, the main provider of air defence in Ukraine, but there's another smaller Su-27 squadron stationed at Otserne in the north. In its own right, and increasingly so. You can tell this one has been given updates by virtue of the pixelated or digital camouflage scheme that it's been given. The Ukrainian flankers have this applied when they go through general overhaul. Has produced the modernised P1M version we see here.
successful air combat is what the pilot is thinking, and how much energy is left, and whether they could trade that height for speed. I mean, certainly that turn there with the undercarriage down, with an undercarriage limiting speed of about 200 knots, seems very, very similar to some of the maximum rate and minimum radius turns that they did.
Dispensers. Touching down with that big dorsal air brake extended. Magnificent to see a thunderous display by this aeroplane back at the Royal International Air Tattoo from the 831st Guards.